We are going to talk about asset protection. What does that mean, Paul? What is asset protection and why is it important?
Yeah, so I will tell you that if you have barely two nickels to rub together, this is probably not the most interesting topic, but you're not here for purposes of just learning how people make money on Amazon and how to create an Amazon business. You're here to start an Amazon business, and very soon one day you may be in a situation where you need asset protection. So it's important now, even as you're a young startup, you need to know this stuff because there's going to be a point in time. Put a calendar reminder in your calendar today, actually, and say, do I need asset protection? Set it for 6 months from now and recurring every 6 months, because hopefully one day this is something you're going to need. And it's certainly something you're going to want to have in place before you need it, because asset protection is something you can do ahead of time, but you can't do it when you need it. By then it's too late. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about creditors going after your hard work, your rewards, right? All the money that you've made selling products on Amazon, being extremely successful, right? You've got, maybe you have real estate, maybe you have stock accounts, you've got bank accounts, you've got a very valuable business, some IP, right? You want to protect that from potential creditors, right? Who could those creditors be? Well, it could be a dispute with a supplier. It could be somebody claiming infringement of intellectual property. Or it could be somebody claiming product liability, that a product you made hurt them. I'll tell you a funny story. Somebody contacted me yesterday. They make vitamin supplements. They got a class action lawsuit lawyer letter, meaning that the lawyer is claiming they're going to file a class action lawsuit. Why? Because their supplements, according to this lawyer, do not have the actual amount of supplement in it. The measurements are wrong, right? So however many IUs of vitamin whatever, they're claiming, this lawyer is saying that his client bought the product and it didn't have that. And so the client is going to sue him as a class.
Having 500 milligrams, they had like 482.
Yeah, exactly. And then whether that's true or not, I don't know, or what method they use, it doesn't matter. But, get ready to rumble here because, now you're a potential risk. These class action lawsuit lawyers are ruthless and they're always looking for ways to go after people. And, supplement sellers, this might be the start of a new thing, class action lawyers coming after you. So what do? No matter what method you tested in, they're going to claim their method worked. It's a nightmare. And so you may have liability insurance for this. Hopefully you do. But the question is, what are you worth? What is your net worth? And if all you have is liability insurance and that Wyoming LLC you formed on LegalZoom 20 years ago or 5 years ago, right, you're going to be in trouble. So you need to do this asset protection stuff to protect your assets, to make it very hard for a lawyer to come after you personally for the liabilities of your company. And that's what asset protection is. It's taking steps to protect yourself personally and your business, because a lot of people think, oh, well, if I have an LLC, I'm personally protected. But what about your business assets? Could you do more to protect them, right? Could we set up multiple LLCs so that your IP is protected from, creditors going after your operating company that's actually selling the goods, right? I mean, we can put these structures in these places. And keep in mind, none of this is bulletproof, but that's not what we're going for. We're trying to create deterrence. We're trying to create leverage for settlements. We want people to take the insurance policy limits. We don't want them to go over and above. The more difficult you make it for them, the more likely that's going to happen. The more likely they're going to take the $2 million policy or the $3 million policy. If you have a $2 million policy and you're worth $5 million and you only have that Wyoming LLC and that's all you've ever done, well, it's not going to take much effort for the lawyer to push right through and tear apart your company and go after you personally. And now you're going to find that you're going to be on the hook for spending a ton of your hard-earned money and giving it to these lawyers, and it sucks. It sounds like fear-mongering, but you know what? I'm happy to pull the letter up right now and read it to you. Don't need to mention who the client is, but I'm not making this stuff up.
It's a common thing. When you have money, people want to take it from you. The best examples are there's somebody who sued Starbucks because they didn't offer a hearing aid because they couldn't hear it the right way. So they went to a Starbucks and they said, hey, can I have the specialized hearing aid so that I can enjoy the music like everybody else is in the Starbucks because of the American Disabilities Act, and then sued them and won for like millions of dollars. Or the McDonald's where, oh, the coffee was too hot, it burned my lap, and sue, but all of these things, that is what happens when you have money. Like, go look it up. Like, people will just come after you to take it with frivolous lawsuits. So go for those if you have like a big wall set up and they know they can't win anything.
I think it is a lot of us, we come from a place where maybe we're not comfortable with the idea that we're people with money, right? That you've become successful. You've done something amazing, right? You beat the odds. right? Because maybe you came from a place where money, these things weren't issues, right? And so now that you have it and you're very guarded and you feel like, oh, well, everyone's just trying to, and maybe it's just the mindset that prevents people from taking these things, from understanding that, no, you're at risk now. You're a high target. Even if you get in a car accident, right? A doctor that gets into a car accident is a much bigger target for litigation than somebody who maybe works in Amazon's warehouse, right? That's just the way it is in the world today. So, I mean, you've been really successful, right? You do need to guard it, but you got to guard it the right way. And that's by putting in these legal structures that are appropriate for people with money. That's the thing. And people with valuable brands and with assets worth protecting. I mean, take these steps because these cases are real. We see it all the time, but you can't do it. Once that litigation's filed, you entered into the fraudulent transfer realm, right? Where all of a sudden anything you do now can be challenged as being done for the purpose of avoiding a creditor, and you've lost. It's too late. These are insurance policies, like we've been saying before. It really is, at the end of the day, these are just part of the insurance policy. You got to do this stuff. You got to
take. It's like getting a vaccine or buying like hurricane shutters. Like you can't, buying the hurricane shutters halfway through the hurricane doesn't help.
No, my clients are so successful and it's amazing, but you've got to start to think like successful people and you've got to do things that successful people do. And that's just the way it is. Otherwise, you're putting yourself at risk, and just understand your target. And, if it's fear mongering, I apologize. I don't mean to. Again, it's just, I'll read the letter. It just, somebody sent me, I haven't heard from this client in years, and I'm not a class action lawyer. And you're going to have to call your insurance policy because they're going to provide you with a lawyer. They're going to help, hopefully, and they'll, if you have the right policy, and help you. But at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that law firm is going to be able to get that company to settle at the limits, right? And maybe this is a case where they just want, the quick payout. Maybe it's one where they want to make an example. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that person would be better off with good asset protection in place. That's really what they need. And I tell this to clients all the time. And honestly, don't do it. And it's frustrating. I'm not a salesy guy. I don't pitch them and keep saying, listen, I'm just telling you how it is. I hope you make a good decision and, appreciate the fact that, yeah, you're a very successful person and there's a cost to doing that, to being successful if you want to stay successful. I mean, that's the reality.
If you guys aren't sold on why asset protection is important yet, go Google it.
Yeah, seriously. Google lawsuits. Exactly. Just Google some of these lawsuits like the that you see out there. And Amazon sellers are getting sued left and right. Amazon just sued a seller. There was a seller who's being sued by the Federal Trade Commission for fake reviews, and God knows what kind of mess that's been.
Really? Thank God. There's finally some justice.
Yes, some justice.
This is now a good lawsuit.
Yes. Well, not for that seller, unfortunately.
Well, if they were actually getting fake reviews, well then.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know what sets that seller apart from the others, but it's like, you just don't know what's out there on the horizon. There was a seller in New York that was sued by Chanel for $20 million for selling Chanel products. They're trying to argue infringement. I mean, these situations are just a dime a dozen these days. And Amazon is an awesome place to be right now. It's such a great opportunity, really have these great opportunities. But when you make money, when you become successful, when you have valuable IP to protect, take the appropriate steps to protect it. It's yours. It's your hard work. You shouldn't just be giving it up to somebody. You don't want to be somebody else's meal ticket.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, if you guys aren't motivated yet, well, I don't know what will. But when you get successful, definitely think about asset protection. So we're going to go over just briefly in the next video, the types of asset protections, because from my understanding, there is personal asset protection, and then there is even for your company.
Absolutely.
So we'll go over those, a brief overview next. Sweet. Thanks, Paul.